Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm so glad you're with us this morning. Got a great show lined up as always. I've never introduced a show and said, well, I got a bad show lined up. Y'all watch it anyway. Always got what I consider good shows, and we enjoy doing them and appreciate your viewership. Weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. By the way, if I said I had a bad show coming, I wonder would some of y'all watch it anyway. All right, high today, 91. That's a cool snap, 91. Low 79. Water temperature is hanging in there at 85 degrees. Let's take a look at our river readings. The Apalachicola is looking nice. It's at a 1.8. And the Choctahatchee is at a 3.1. And both of them looking good for the weekend. Let me say something about the river. I was talking to an old timer the other day about the river readings on the Apalachicola. He brought up a good point. In the early days, old days, I'm talking about 34 years ago, they loved it when the river got around 5 or 6 foot was when the river was right. Now they're looking at 2 foot when the river is right. And it's fascinating how that's changed over the years, and that shows you the amount of water that is being taken out. Just that in itself with the fish biting, you know, back then at 5 to 6 foot, and because I remember loving to go at 5 to 6 foot, and then it's at 2 foot now. They like it at 2 foot. Okay, the tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. We're in a whole week of really good tides. Have a high tide at 9:51 and a low tide at 8:04. About 51 minutes different from yesterday's high tide. It was even 9 o'clock yesterday, so still really good morning tides. A great week to go inshore fishing in any places, any bay system you can find. The marine forecast will be west at 5 to 10, and we're looking at this weekend's weather is not looking good. I was just telling Jeff, Saturday, every prediction I see is calling for 100% chance of rain for our big Sea Quarters tournament. And we just have to prepare. We're still going to fish. The only thing we got to watch out for, of course, is the waves. The size of those waves and the wind blowing. That's a big thing out. We're going to talk about it later on in the show. But if you're making your plans for the weekend, just be aware of all predictions are showing Saturday are not really good. All right. Let's take a break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Let's get into our picture parade of outdoor activities here in the Panhandle. I guess the triple P's, the Panhandle Picture Parade. That'd be a good acronym for this. And I appreciate y'all sending these pictures. What it does, this gives us a great, almost a daily overview of what's going on. And these pictures are fresh. They're coming from you, our viewers, and it's really just really good stuff. I appreciate getting them. Let's start with this one right here. Just the other day we talked about going up to Carter Track and fishing. Marcus Parrish now is a good fisherman. Been a little sick lately, but he's getting back in his fishing mode, and he's a good fisherman. And you see just look, you know, everything in that picture is pretty, of course, except for Marcus. But look at that background, how beautiful it is up there at the Carter Track. So if you get a chance, y'all go. That's fly fishing up there on Carter Track. All right, next picture. This is fascinating here. This is a 12-inch shrimp. It didn't come from Florida Keys or the Bahamas, anywhere. This shrimp came out of West Bay. This is Barry Pate. He lived there all his life. He'd never seen a fish like that. A shrimp like this. That's an Asian tiger shrimp, 12 inches long. And they say they're very invasive, and we'll just wait and see. But I guess they taste good. Probably tastes like a lobster looking like that. Now here's another picture of Barry catching and releasing a nice redfish in the surf. And you can see, remember now when these redfish are light colored, it's just where they live. They live around the sand and the surf and all. They're going to be a lighter color. We've talked about that before. Fascinating what they do. This is a throwback Thursday. This is last night 2 years ago. This is me and my little sweetheart Ashley, my middle grandchild. This is our first flounder gigging trip. We were down at the Cape, and we were over in Eagle Harbor, and she and Wendy and I got a kick out of it because when Wendy, her mom, my daughter, was her age, we were doing the same thing. And that was just a special trip. That was 2 years ago last night. So, and she's out in Montana right now, but I hope she gets to see this picture. All right. Now, boat for sale. You know, we've had good luck on these boats right here. This is Jim Wilson's boat. Y'all know Jim Wilson. He's had a TV show for years. He's retired from television, and I've had him on here a time or two, and hope to get him on again. Jim is a good outdoorsman, takes care of his stuff. And here it is. This is a fully restored 14-foot McKee Craft boat. It has a 60 horsepower rebuilt Johnson motor and a brand new $1,200 AMW trailer. You can see that trailer right there. That is brand new. And he also has Lowrance, GPS, sonar, all this stuff. And it's a good-looking boat. I have fished a McKee Craft. There's a trailer there. I've fished. I've had a McKee Craft one time. Very similar to Boston Whaler. Very good boat. Excellent stability. All right, Jim's asking $3,200 for this boat. That's a good buy. That boat will sell. I'm sell here off Panhandle Outdoors. Let me give you his number now. So write this down. Don't wait like you did that last time, because that boat sold right away. You got to call him right away. His number is 819-2284. 819-2284. And I can promise you that's a good buy and a good boat, and you buy it from someone who's take care of the stuff. Okay. Now here. Okay. Next picture. This is from a kayak, and we've talked before about just having different. When you go fishing, you have 2 or 3 different rigs and all. And this was sent to me by Bill Barfield, and look at it. He's got 4 rigs here. On the left, that spinner. Then the second from the left, that gold spoon. You just can't. You got to have a gold spoon when you go out fishing. I'm telling you. Then the third one. Okay, look, he's got top water. He's got swim baits, and he's all set. That's Bill Barfield, and he is a good fisherman. Thank you, Bill, for sharing that with us. And that's how he rolls on his kayak. He said. All right, I always got to have a good saying. Common sense is a flower that doesn't grow in everyone's garden. Okay. Next, this is a good picture. I really like this. This is father and son out here in North Bay. What's good about this, they release this fish. This is Johnny Way. That's Bart Way, his dad. And they caught him Sunday afternoon. Nice, pretty red fish. And I'm going to show you the release a little bit later on in the show. I actually had he sent a video of the release. Bart, thank you for doing a good job, Johnny. Okay, and then this is Donnie Copper sent this picture of his kids right here. He said, my children, Drew and Elizabeth Copper, caught these mahi-mahi on a trip with Captain Spann of the Fighting Fins Charters. We also caught kings and a couple of snapper. It was their first offshore fishing trip. I think they're hooked. Donnie Copper. Thank you, Donnie. And that's something good to be hooked on right there. Okay. And one more time, let's show, good picture there. Let's show, I don't know if he sold this yet. I'm going to mention it one more time. This is, we talked about Joy Jernigan with his bow fishing outfit. This is a really good buy too. I won't go over all of it again, but Joy's number is 373-7379. And a good set right there. That whole set, everything you see there, is being sold for $250. That's a really good deal there. Okay, so that takes care of our pictures and all. And we're gonna take a break. I'm gonna come back and show that release on that redfish. So we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. And we're going to set up this little video. This is, from a phone, and a lot of times it takes us a minute or two to set it up. That's why we took this break. And this is a release of Johnny Wade releasing that little redfish he caught. So let's take a look at it. Look at this now. This is beautiful, clear water. He's got it in the water. Okay, fish starts moving a little bit, and it swims off. It's nothing. There's nothing but beauty right there. Little boy releasing that redfish, and swims on away, so you see it. So thank you, Bart Way, for sending that. One thing too, I know sometimes the screen is all and it's like this, and we really want that really panoramic view. And I'm bad about this too, especially in the heat of the moment where you're trying to get that picture and all. But Jeff just mentioned this too. When you video something on your phone, instead of doing it vertically, try to do it horizontally, and that way that it's going to be a lot. It'll fill out the screen more. And I'm real bad about that myself, because okay, hold it right there, and we do that. But technology is amazing, and to share something like that, so all of y'all see that, and a lot of y'all do that. So y'all send me those little clips and all. It sort of takes a little minute or two to get set up from the still pictures to the movie pictures, but we can handle it. Now, one of the things we want to talk about, and it's going to feed into our little video, is safety. One of the themes from day one doing Panhandle Outdoors, we preach safety, and our goal on our show is to inform and entertain you. Those two things, And in the information phase, we've talked about safety on a regular basis. I talk about it with my students, and I talk about it with you. And over the years, we've had guests in here talk about different things concerning safety and all in the outdoors, from all kinds of things in the woods and on the water. And of course, this tragic incident with these two 14-year-old boys, that sort of really hit home to a lot of us here in the Panhandle, because we can see how it happened and all things, and how it could have been prevented. And I'm not here to pass judgment on it, but certainly as 14-year-olds, that's a little 8th or 9th grade kid, and hopefully you're going to not let them go out in the Gulf or go out in the Atlantic Ocean. But sometimes kids will do things that, as all 14-year-olds, sometimes they do things against our wishes that they don't really think they're in danger, and they don't think it's. So I don't know really what happened as far as permission to go out there and all that, but I do know. I feel like I know what happened when they got out there. I think when they got out there, this storm came up, and we've been in these storm situations before. A lot of y'all have to watch this show, and I've been there and all, and we just sometimes it's scary, but at the same time it's awesome at the power. And I know in my book, C.J. Bryan talked about when there's a great story on C.J. Bryan, and they interviewed him after the storm. He was in a 3-masted schooner, and it broke the mast off, and they'd given up on he and his crew. And he talked about the awesomeness of being out there in those huge waves. It's scary and frightening and all, but just seeing all that happening all. But I know basically they got out there and probably lost control of their boat as far as getting in those waves when that storm came. It comes up so quick and so fast and so strong. Those waves been building up, and they just get up so fast. So just be aware of that. And that's all relative. You say, well, that's going to be in the Gulf. That's all relative to the size of your boat and your location. You can get the same kind of trouble out in the Choctawhatchee Bay with a small boat, or out at Lake Seminole in a little bass boat, or in a fishing pond with a little canoe or something. If that storm comes up, you can get in trouble. So that's relative to where you are and what size boat you have. But with all that being said, so they're in trouble, okay? Now, when the boat flipped over, no one's going to really know. But the one thing that would have saved those boys' lives, of course, is the life jackets. Of course, the EPIRB. We've talked about EPIRBs. You know what they are, to send that signal off. And a lot of people don't have those EPIRBs. I go out with a lot of people, and most people I go out with don't have them. Some of the guys do have them. And, of course, that's that signal that hits the satellite, goes back to the Coast Guard. They pinpoint right where you are, and you're in trouble. And that has saved a lot of people's lives. Most of the big boats have those, but most of the recreation fishermen don't. Now, with that being said, let's talk about life jackets. Okay, this is a original life jacket, lasted for so many years and all. People don't put these on it until they're in trouble. They're big, they're bulky, but they are safe and they're buoyant, and that's going to keep you afloat. And but like again, they're not comfortable. I'm not going to put this on this weekend and fish in it. Okay, can you see me out there trying to catch a fish at 10:30 in the morning? It's just not going to be. Okay. Then it's a series of development, and that's why I'm leading up to the video. Now this, of course, we had this on before too, where you had the CO2 cartridge. It's rare lightweight, and it's not near as bulky and all. And it has a cartridge in here. You just pull that string, and this was a huge improvement. And a lot of people wear these. A lot of bass fishermen, a lot of people in tournaments and all. So I think it's required in some places, and a lot of people wear them. But the majority of people still do not wear these because there's something to go on. So now, with all that being said, you got all this situation. You got those boys out there in trouble. And if they just had on a life jacket, because they knew, they obviously from the background, they knew a lot about the boats, a lot about safety and all, but somehow they lost it somewhere in there. And it's not just the 14-year-old kids who lose it. You get out on a boat, a lot of grown men with a lifetime of experience. If you lose control of that boat, those waves are going to flip you over. So with that being said, and one of the last things you think about, it had to flip over so fast, and then you can't swim up under and get the life jackets out. And then you don't think about while you're trying to keep control of that boat. You don't think about putting a life jacket on. We've been there, we've done that. And so what's the next best thing? So we talked about inventions, and down at the show last week, we ran across this invention, and it pertains to this situation right here. And I think this is going to sweep the boating industry as far as this. This is a built-in life jacket into a shirt, and it's it's the darndest thing. I kept looking at it. I said, that can't work and all. So I got this interview, and this little invention is going to save a lot of lives, I think. It's just the timing on it's perfect to coincide with this tragic situation. If these kids would have had just had the shirt on, they put the shirt on, and you can see it's a comfortable shirt, and the life jacket sort of is built in it with a little cartridge. So let's go and watch this interview, and I think you'll see what I'm talking about. Now I've run into a lot of cool stuff at this meet, but now this is one of the coolest of all. These two men here, this is something that we all need about. Rosario, Winston Chester, Jim.
Jim, how are you? Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys. Now listen, Rosario, briefly tell us what this is. Just tell us what you have right here. This is cool.
Well, this is what's going to revolutionize water safety. This is actually a shirt that you can wear in the water that if you get in any trouble, you can actually pull the lever up to the right, inflate the shirt, and float you to the top of the water. We have them for adults as well as for children. They're all automatic or manual, however you choose to set them. It's on the inside.
You don't feel it, can you?
And,
No, I don't feel it.
and a matter of fact, we can show you.
Okay.
This is how our shirt inflates. You would pull the lever. This gives you simulation.
Look at that.
Swells up, floats you to the top of the water. You can scream for mama.
That is cool.
And then you can also release, or for some reason this doesn't work, you can also manually inflate. So you can get yourself out of trouble.
That is so important. Really.
And we won best technical apparel.
Best show technical apparel.
Yeah.
When you win a prize like this goes in this kind of competition, that is exciting. Best technical. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
What a great idea.
Now, these shirts are fully rechargeable. Takes about a minute and a half to 2 minutes. And the biggest thing that inspired it was the kids' version. We lose more children worldwide to drowning than anything. It's because the kids, they won't wear the life preserver.
No, they don't.
This is a child life preserver done cool. Most children don't want to wear the orange life preserver because it's uncomfortable. But now we made it cool. It automatically will inflate. If a child can't swim and he's by the water or he's in the ocean and he submerges, it'll automatically go off and float him to the top of the water.
Wow, that's going to save a lot of lives.
Number one killer of children today is drowning. And hopefully we can make a difference. That's what we're trying to do.
That is wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations on a great job and winning that prize.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet y'all and good luck to your product.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye, Jim.
Thank you.
Now, welcome back. Now, isn't that a brilliant idea? Looking back on all the inventions we've shown and all that right there is going to help mankind more than any of them, I think. If that catches on, if it gets comfortable enough, that's the key to it, being comfortable while you're doing things in the outdoors. So, but especially when the seas are rough and all, put a shirt on. So anyway, I don't know if they hadn't even hit the market yet. This was just, I think they were trying to get them in the tackle shops over the weekend. Real quick, let's take a look at our fishing game forecast brought to us by Mark Coward of Counts Real Estate. Mark is a very avid supporter of Panhandle Outdoors. We appreciate him. And our times today from 12:04 to 2:04 of Counts Real Estate there. So thank you, Mark. And that one time, right in the middle of the day. All right, now, I've told you before, I've had articles here from the Calhoun Liberty Journal. I've got kin folks over there, got to keep up with them and all. So, and I know we have a lot of viewers over there. And just in the recent one here, there's two stories, and they're back-to-back stories of snake bites. And I mentioned last week about snake bites, and sure enough, and this right here, I got the details on a 16-year-old Brycey McNeil. He walked out to his shed and was moving a truck liner box, and he thought a wasp had stung him on his ankle. He looked down there, and it wasn't a wasp. And to make a long story short, a foot-long ground rattler had popped him. So he knew he was in trouble. Run inside, tell his mom to drive him to the hospital. About a 15-minute drive to the Calhoun Hospital, Calhoun Liberty Hospital, and he was on the way. They'd called his dad. His dad wouldn't kill a snake, so they identified it was a foot-long rattlesnake. And what happened? He got in there, and they treated him, gave him anti-venom all night long, and transferred him over to Tallahassee Memorial Hospital, and he had to go like 6 antivenom treatments, but he was in the hospital a day or two. He's doing okay, but he ran into, while he was over there, ran into another snake bite victim from the same neck of the woods, and that was it was a camper from Torreo State Park. And he had stepped on he was walking along the trail and stepped on a copperhead. He thought he'd stepped on a real sharp stick. All right, the commonality of both of these snake bites, both boys had on flip-flops. We all wear in the summer, but if you're out in the woods now, it's not a good idea to wear flip-flops. That would have prevented some. Both boys survived. Both of them had, but they, you get sick, it's painful, and it's really it's scary if you can't get help. Now, if they'd been out in the backwoods, they would have really been in trouble. And it just goes to show you, the things we talk about on the show, we don't make these things up. They really happen. And for that to be back-to-back snake bites in the same neck of the woods is fascinating to me. But the key to it is get to the hospital as soon as you can. And they did it within 15 minutes. They were waiting on them at the hospital and knew exactly what to do and had the antivenom already. And what you do, you don't just take one dose of antivenom. It's a series of about 6, you spread it out, 6 different doses. But the pain from everybody, I've never been bit, but people tell me the pain is intense on a snake bite because it spreads throughout your body. And that's eventually how people die. That pain spreads and hits their heart. It stops their heartbeat. So the key to it is a time factor. Get to the hospital, get some first aid real quick. So real people doing real things here on Panhandle Outdoors. About run out of time. I had a lot more to talk about it. We'll pick it up tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the famous Friday fishing forecast. We're going to give away some more seafood. We're going to talk about our big tournament this weekend. We're excited about it. We're apprehensive as to the weather, but we're going to fish it if it's safe. And I think all of us are going down there with that intention, and it's going to be a good time anyway. So as you make your plans for the weekend, keep your eye on the weather and all, and make sure he's safe, and make sure you got make sure your life jacket's aboard, and make sure you know how to put them on and can get to them really quick in case you have a situation when those waves come up really fast. Okay, I'll wrap it up today. I really enjoyed doing the show today. Hope you enjoyed it too. And as always, we ask you to do something good for your fellow man. You have a great day. Enjoy the outdoors, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.